You're listening to WRPR Mawa.
Now that's a face for radio.
You're listening to WRPR Mawa.
Now that's a face for radio.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is H to the OP.
Hello, fans of all ages. We are indeed the Beast of the East. Ryan Mork and Scott Thompson here with you on WRPR 90.3 FM on this Thursday edition of Beast of the East, October 29th, 2015, coming to you live from Studio A here at Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey. And starting off, New York Mets, probably the favors to win this World Series, and depending on how you look at it. And just like that, they are down 2-0. Game 3 tomorrow night at Citi Field. It'll be Noah Syndergaard against Yordan Ventura. And the way that I've been looking at this, Scott's not here right now. He's going to join us in a minute or so. The way I'm looking at this World Series right now is that, with the exception of yesterday, because Johnny Cueto pitched a phenomenal game, two-hitter. The only blemish that he had was Lucas Duda's RBI single. It's not what the Mets aren't doing. It's what the Royals are doing. You can't really put the fault with the Mets. You have to give a lot of credit to this Kansas City Royals team. I saw an amazing stat. I think it was either Buster Olney or Brian Hodes of the Yankees. Someone said that in every outing Jacob deGrom has had this postseason, he has not let up 5 hits in the entire outing. Last night, in the 6th inning, when the Royals put up that 4 spot, Jacob deGrom let up 6 hits in that inning alone. And we've heard a bunch of talk about the Royal offense. Best fastball hitters in the league. They don't strike out. They don't beat you with the Cubs do like with the long ball. They beat you because they know how to hit. And that's exactly what the Royals are doing. And we'll get into the Mets' struggles later, but really quickly, just about the Royals in general. The Royals are playing exceptionally well. They're proving to be, you can argue, the best offense in the league. And you heard me say it on the air. The Mets pitching has the advantage without a doubt. But the Royals offense has been unbelievable. They know how to face these Mets hitters. Scott just walked in, and hey, you feel better?
I feel a lot better.
Sure.
Sorry, guys. These Royal hitters are relentless, though. Absolutely relentless.
Oh, yeah.
You can see that deGrom and Harvey, who didn't have their stuff, in my opinion, their fastballs are a little bit slower than normal, but still, fighting off 0-2, fighting off 1-2, getting hits on 0-2, getting hits on 1-2 with runners in scoring position. That's what's going to win you games. That's how you win a World Series, and that's what the Royals are doing.
Jacob deGrom had 3 swings and misses last night. 3. That's unbelievable. I mean, I was just saying, it's not really what the Mets aren't doing. We'll get into David Wright and Yoenis and their struggles in a couple of minutes, but right now it's not that the Mets are losing. The Royals are winning this series. The Royals are completely out-hitting, out-pitching, out-fielding the New York Mets. And you heard A-Rod say it in the pregame. If the Mets catch the ball, they're going to be world champs. First pitch they see, it's a gapper and no one catches it. It could have been 1 out instead of it was an inside-the-park home run by Alcides Escobar, the NLCS MVP. And right now he's looking like he's going to be the World Series MVP. Last night he went 2-5 with 2 ribbies. He has, I think, 3 or 4 triples this postseason alone. I mean, Escobar is really carrying this team. You have Moustakas with Hosmer with the walk-off sac fly. The Royals know how to hit, and I was talking to Brandon about it the other day. Which offense is better, the Cubs offense or the Royals offense? And for the Mets pitching, the Royal offense is better. For some teams, you might think the Cubs offense is better because they hit the long ball. But the problem with that is that they strike out a lot. The Royals don't strike out at all. They put the ball in play, and that's a strength, especially when you compare it to the Mets defense.
Exactly. When you look at the Royals at bats that you've seen so far in these first two games, you see them not going down on 3 or 4 pitches. If they're going to go down, it's going to be a 6 or 7 pitch at bat, and that's hard for a pitcher because, especially if that's the first at bat and they're coming back up, Ryan, they're a lot more poised. You could see Eric Hosmer last night and Moustakas last night. What'd they do? They took Jacob deGrom all the way through, and then what? Base hits right up the middle. That scores runs. They're not beating you with the long ball like you said the Cubs would. They're beating you with first and second. Alcides Escobar trying to bunt, and Ned Yost said that was his own call. Like, this team knows how to play baseball.
Yep. They're smart.
This team knows how to score runs, and they're unselfish as a lineup can be, and they just know how to produce. And right now, that's what's going to win you ball games.
Enough about the Royals. We got to talk about the Mets now because this is New York. The Mets are losing. They are the story. You can't win a series with your captain batting 171 in the postseason and Yoenis Cespedes, who is I don't care what Daniel Murphy is doing. Yoenis Cespedes is the spark plug of this offense. He has been ever since he came to the Mets. He hit, 17 home runs as a Met in the final 2 months of the season?
Yep.
Yoenis Cespedes is the best offensive player on this New York Met team, and he's batting .227. He's been a 0 in the postseason. And you know what? People are saying that he's hurt. He might be playing hurt, but I see him go up in the box, and he's not swinging like he's hurt. He's swinging to hit it out of Kauffman Stadium every time.
Literally
every time
out
he's
of
swinging
Kauffman
out of
Stadium.
I know. He's swinging out of his shoes.
What's so bad about this is Kevin Long, who's a batting coach that you know is all for plate discipline. He tries to do it with every single one of his hitters. He did it well with the Yankees. But when you look at Yoenis Cespedes in the beginning, I guess the National League pitchers couldn't figure him out. But now that everyone's figured him out, they're not even throwing a strike because this guy is swinging at anything. And in my opinion, Ryan, it's just such a selfish move for Cespedes to try to swing out of his shoes every time. Go ahead.
Like, you see how the Royals are beating you. Playing smart, not trying to go for the long ball, and if they do get the pitch to swing at, then of course they're going to try to hit it out. You see how you're getting beat, but you don't do anything about it.
No, the guy's lunging. He's swinging out of his shoes, practically. The pitch that he hit to Moustakas last night, that was almost the double play. Me and Mike were saying, that was his pitch. It was down and in. If he just waited a little more, yeah, maybe you could have popped it out.
Excited.
But this guy swung so hard for no reason, and he was way out in front, and it could have been a line drive, maybe down the line, or even a ball in the gap or out. But Cespedes is up there, like you said, trying to hit the ball on the highway. Plain and simple. They're trying to hit the guys on baseball tonight who are across the highway. He is swinging out of his shoes, and he's just really got to get a lot more plate discipline, especially at Citi Field.
And, I mean, the guy doesn't know where he is. Like, when they announced the lineups, he wasn't even there to walk out onto the field.
I didn't see that. Really?
I heard about it. I mean, I was watching it, and someone said it on the radio or something. He wasn't on the... They said he was in the bathroom, which I don't get. And then first pitch is a ball that should have been caught. And we know how fast Cespedes' speed is very underrated, but he should have had that ball, and he just, I don't want to say he dogged it, but he misplayed it. So right away, he doesn't know where he is, and he can't hit. He's all over the place. I think he's trying to prove that he can hit, but we already know what he can do. So why is he trying so hard? I mean, I get it. He wants the ring. It's his contract year. He's going to be a free agent in a week. But just be disciplined at the plate. That's what the Royals are doing right now. The Royals are winning by being disciplined at the plate, and the Mets are losing because they're being the polar opposite right now.
Absolutely. And Cespedes is the only guy that has faced Yordan Ventura in this lineup right now. Mm-hmm. He's batting 143 in 7 at-bats, so he's got 1 hit. So he's faced Ventura. You need to see a good game out of Cespedes. Ventura giving up 10 earned runs in 17 2/3 so far this postseason. So Yeah, he's got a 4.08 ERA right now.
He's not. He got demoted to AAA earlier this year. He's
Exactly.
Not very
So
good.
Ventura is hittable. It's all about playing the Royals game for the Mets now. The Royals are being methodical with how they go at their at-bats. They don't go up hacking, except for Escobar, who got 2 first-pitch fastballs, which make no sense to me in his first at-bat. But the Mets need to be more methodical at the plate like the Royals. Play the Royals game. Fight fire with fire. Make Ventura pitch you the ball. Make him make a mistake, not you.
And what doesn't help the Mets at all, the Mets pitching in this case, is that they're facing a DH. I mean, you look at pitching stats in general. For the regular season, the lowest ERA in the American League was David Price. He was at a 2.26 or 2.46. There are 7 pitchers in the National League with ERAs under 2. DeGrom, Greinke, Kershaw, Arrieta, Scherzer. I think Garrett Cole is on that list. And one other person I can't remember right now. But that shows you how effective the DH is. And now that the next 3 games are in Citi Field, that's going to benefit the Mets. That's going to benefit their arms because now they have to face Yordano Ventura and whoever else is going to hit. I mean, Cueto, if he throws Game 5, I don't know if they're going 3 or 4-man rotation, but Cueto is a newly American League guy, so he's not a threat at the plate, but he's a little bit experienced. But Met fans don't think that this series is over. How many times have we said Game 3 is the most important game of any series?
Well, you showed me the graphic today in class, actually. It was the exact what happened in 86, correct?
Yep.
Game 1, they lost by 1 run, and in Game 2, they lost by 6 runs. I don't go by something like that, but Brandon told me today, history just finds a way to repeat itself.
Yep.
And Mets fans, you can't worry about your team at Citi Field. They show that they can produce at home. Their hometown crowd, as long as you guys are behind them.
Which they will be.
Exactly. It starts with Syndergaard, okay? It's a completely different game, and this is why I always talk about, you're talking about the DH. I like the DH rule. I want it to be implemented all throughout baseball. I've always been that way. But when you go to a National League ballpark, the Royals pitchers who, like you said, just Johnny Cueto is the only one that has that National League experience. So these guys, maybe it'll prove a difference. There's always some little thing that could just go your way. So the Mets really need to focus on just settling down. You're at home now for 3 games.
Hopefully.
Ryan, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that the Mets have to win all 3?
No.
You don't?
Well,
Because I think they do. I really think that they need to win all 3 games. They have been rattled at Kauffman Stadium. Does it start with Juris Familia? Yes, in my opinion.
It's a good point.
It starts with him. You need to have him get out there and have a chance to throw again. He couldn't throw in Game 2 because it was a blowout at that point, 7-1. So you need Juris Familia to come on the mound again. You need him to throw and get back to where he is. Because if you don't win 3 in, even if you do win all 3 in Queens, you're going back to Kansas City. Yeah. So this Mets team just needs to sit back, look at where they are, and just take it a game at a time. Don't look 3 games ahead. Tomorrow is the first day. Yeah,
they got to go 1 game at a time, but you're right. They do have to win these next 3 games because you can't go to Kansas City being down 3-2.
No, and it starts with you got to be 1-0 each day. All right, you got to focus on it. We're going to be 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. You can't go, I want to go 3-0. You have to really focus
if you worry about Game 5 now, then...
Absolutely.
Ryan Morrick, Scott Thompson, Beast of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM. Call in with your thoughts, 201-825-1234. That's 201-825-1234. I do think the Mets will win tomorrow. I think that Syndergaard has been in his zone. I mean, we said that about Jacob deGrom. And, I mean, he really only had 1 bad inning. The Royals can just hit. And you know what? It was a 2-out rally.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff happens.
DeGrom is not going to do that again. So hats off to the Royals because Jacob deGrom is going to come out with fire if he gets to pitch again. So Syndergaard right now, You are the man. You have an 8-2 record. You have a 2.41 ERA right now in this postseason. That's awesome for a guy who's been pitching away mostly. So
Something that everyone was doubting.
absolutely, and now he's home. He's where he wants to be, and Mets. This game is highly in your favor, in my opinion. No one has faced him. No one has even seen him. You're only seeing him on footage. It's different when you see that 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you from that 6'6" frame.
Yep.
On 60 feet away. So, Mets, this is your game coming up. So don't back down now. Just keep rallying up.
Now, I know we're saying you can't look ahead, but let's look ahead at Game 4. Right now, Steven Matz is lined up. Do you like that decision?
Yeah, I do, especially after what just happened with Harvey and DeGrom. You need Steven Matz as your Game 4 starter. Steven Matz had a good game last game. Honestly, his first game, I think, was jitters. It's hard. You get it sometimes. He's a young pitcher, but Steven Matz definitely needs to be in this Game 4 slot. He has the stuff. We've seen it. As long as he has control in the first couple innings, look for him to just keep going the distance because you don't need Harvey and DeGrom to be absolutely toasted. You need them to be where they want to be as I'm trying to look for the word, but you need Harvey and DeGrom to pitch well in these next games. So it starts with Steven Matz throwing. You can't just put Harvey right after Syndergaard.
I think Matz starts, A, for a rest, and B, because I think Harvey and DeGrom are really overwhelmed right now. I think Matz needs to,
That's the word I was going to
Matz needs to start because Harvey and DeGrom just got a reality check. They've been dominating this postseason with the exception of Harvey's first start, only 5 innings and 90-some pitches. But DeGrom has really been dominating this postseason, as has Syndergaard and as has Harvey, and so is Matz with a little bit of shakiness here and there. But that's normal from Matz, who came into the league, July. So I think that Harvey and DeGrom, I think that if you rush them, they're not going to be mentally ready. Cause they could be physically ready because the World Series, you got to be ready to throw on 3 days rest. We've seen people do it before. Look at Keuchel. The guy never did it before. Went on the road at Yankee Stadium, and we know we were there. It was the loudest Yankee Stadium crowd I've ever seen. I think the same thing for you. And he shut them up. 3-day rest for the first time, and he was lights out. A, because the Yankees really just were cold, but Dallas Keuchel really knows how to throw. He's a smart pitcher. He knows how to pitch. He does more than just throw. And I think that if you rush Harvey and DeGrom, they won't know how to do that.
I like that you brought up how Keuchel pitches and doesn't throw. This guy's not going to overwhelm you. But what Harvey and DeGrom were doing in the DS and the CS were pitching. I feel like these 2 games that we saw from them, they were trying to blow fastballs past this team. You can't do that. The only guy I think that can really blow fastballs away and get away with it is Syndergaard. But Syndergaard is going to have to look at Game 1 and Game 2 and say, okay, even high fastballs they were getting a piece of. So I need to work my changeup, my curveball. He's got a great hard-breaking and late-breaking slider. So we're going to see a lot of that from him, especially against these lefties. Because, can he get away with throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball past you? Sometimes, But it works with your slider. As long as your slider's on, you're throwing it for strikes, it's keeping everyone off balance. So he's going to have a tough test ahead of him, but as long as he pitches instead of throws, I think Syndergaard comes away with this win in Game 3.
I forgot who mentioned it, but someone said it. That the Mets are fastball pitchers, they're power pitchers, and the Royals are fastball hitters. And they said the Mets cannot change their pitching style. Obviously, that has not worked out. So does Syndergaard keep doing what he's comfortable with? I mean, you kind of just voice your opinion. You think that he should.
I think that every pitcher should be pitching a little bit more off speed and just placing the ball better. I get that. Yeah, they've been overpowering these teams, but whoever said that they need to stick to what they're doing because it has worked is false. Because it's not like they get another chance after this. This is it. You need to change your pitching based on the batter. And that comes with anyone. For A-Rod, you're going to throw the ball away. You're not going to throw the ball in. But with the new A-Rod, so A-Rod comes in, you think his bat's going to be a little bit slower, you start throwing him in. You don't stick to the same agenda every single time. You need to work each hitter each day, depending on what they're doing. So they need to pitch more and work the hitters instead of just trying to get the ball past them and do what they have been doing.
And the Mets haven't faced the Royals in both franchises' history since 2004. Or it was either the first time they're facing each other or the last time the Mets were in Kansas City since 2004. They don't see each other very often. And what the pitchers have to do is look at the scouting reports, look at the stats, look at the heat maps. Because if you go up there and say, okay, let's test this thing out, it's not going to work. I know I said that pitching has the advantage, but that's not going to work. If you assume that someone can't hit somewhere, that doesn't fly, especially in the World Series in professional baseball. You need to look at the scouting reports. You need to do your research because that's the only way that you're going to beat teams who you've never seen before. If you see that Alcides Escobar is batting 190 low and away, then throw him breaking balls. Throw him breaking balls every time. If you see that he's throwing 280 to 310 in middle and in pitches, don't try to overpower him with the fastball because these guys are professional hitters. They can turn on it. And you know what? If they can't catch up, they'll wait a second and poke one out to opposite field. You need to look at the heat maps. You need to look at the stats. Look at their scouting reports because looking at the scouting reports, that's what wins ball games. And Joe Girardi gets a lot of heat for that. But you know what? I feel like we're bringing up the Yankees a lot, but that's how it is. Joe Girardi won 87 games because is he too much of a binder guy? Sure. Does he play matchups a lot? Yes. But scouting reports matter. They wouldn't have them if it didn't mean anything.
Look, the movie Moneyball wasn't made for no reason. The matchups work. Statistics work. You can use them in your favor. However, if you just look at it from a baseball standpoint, the Royals hitters are survivors.
Yeah.
So pitchers look at batters and say, okay, I'm trying to think like a batter. I'm going to throw what I think he isn't going to think I'm throwing next. So if you, being a pitcher, you'd be like, okay, I just threw 2 inside fastballs. He might be thinking I'm going away now. What if I just bang him in again? So that's what I'm thinking as a pitcher. But these Royals hitters aren't thinking, okay, he's going to throw a changeup away or he's going to throw a slider. They might, but these guys are survivors.
Yeah.
They are up there saying, I'm staying alive. I'm going to put the ball in play. I'm going to make you beat me instead of me beating myself. So that's why it comes down to really, can this young staff show us that they are the best rotation in all of baseball right now? Because they need to pitch at their best every single inning.
The Royals go up to the plate with the mentality of, I'm swinging the bat.
Absolutely.
And I don't care where you throw it, I'm going to swing at it unless if I can't reach it. That's how they are. Look at how many 2-strike counts Jacob deGrom had last night. Mm-hmm. And what happened? Hit, fouled it off, hit. Every pitch, they go up there with the mentality to swing. They don't go into the box and say, let me take first pitch and see what he has. They work counts not by taking pitches, but by battling and swinging the bat. A lot of people work pitchers by only swinging at pitches they can hit. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The Royals can hit just about everything.
Yeah, and I commend them for that. The grittiness that this team has, they are scrappy. They know how to produce runs, whether it looks pretty or not. You don't need to trot around every time to win a game. Like we saw, a bases loaded, sack fly won game 1. You know, a clutch home run, tied the game. But what they did was they were gritty. Walks, hit there, walk again. Look at that. You know, it's just they know how to play the game of baseball fundamentally. And at the end of the day, do they have a lot of clutch moments? Yeah. Alex Gordon was as clutch as it got in game 1. That's as clutch as you get. You take advantage of a miscue. And you can't make those. So I commend the Royals for doing what they did, but if you look at the Mets, and the Mets are saying, okay, we're beating ourselves right now. That is what's going on. People went into the series thinking that we're going to win it. And they still have a very good chance as long as they just sit back, turn the tables and just go with the flow a game at a time.
Does the series go back to Kansas City?
Yes. In my opinion, I think it's going to go back to Kansas City. The Mets are going to win. To look at it realistically, I think the Mets win 2 out of 3 at Citi Field, but they do have a 60-40 chance, in my opinion, to win all 3. They really do, especially with that fan base behind them. They know that Mets fans are relentless when it comes to being it's all on us. So now that it's the World Series and they're in it, they're going to be behind them because they don't know what's going to happen in the years to come.
I would not be surprised if either or happened. I mean, you look at the Kansas City Royals even last year, and they finally lost because of Madison Bumgarner. And he was just, we know, he was unbelievable.
But that Royals series, sorry to cut you off real quick, but you said it today. That this Royals series now with the Mets is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you were saying the ratings are off the charts.
23.5 on Game 1 in New York and 16-something in Kansas City.
That's insane. It's amazing to see the attention that this series is getting. It's awesome.
I think that the series can go back to Kansas City, and I do think that the Mets can win this series if it goes into Kansas City because they beat the Dodgers in LA, they beat Chicago in Chicago. Do I think that favors them? No. I still think that it's the home field advantage, whatever. You can only be so good on the road. I do think it's so hard to say because going back to Syndergaard and throwing changeups and throwing curveballs and mixing it up, what if he doesn't have the off speed?
What if Syndergaard doesn't have the off speed? Then you're in trouble. You can't throw fastballs past everyone. We've seen it in Game 2. It's just that simple. If you throw a pass in the first time, it's not going to happen again because they know what's coming. If the off speed's off, if you see off speed, if he throws it for a strike, then okay. But if he's not throwing it for strikes, you're just going to take it every time, whether you see it or not. So the only person I think that chases on this team is Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
The rest of them just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if Syndergaard doesn't have his stuff, like I said, Syndergaard is the man to focus on in this game because
the rest of the series this is the biggest game of
this
Syndergaard's.
is the defining series. Whether he knows it or not, we all know it because Syndergaard needs to win this game. You cannot go 3-0. No. This isn't the 04 Red Sox.
No.
We're not. It's not going to happen with the Royals. They lost it last year. If they get 3-0, you're not leaving Citi Field unscathed. They're going to walk away with the trophy if they win this game.
Yeah, I think if they go down 3-0, I don't see the Mets. I don't even see the Mets winning Game 4.
No, I mean,
I think if it goes back to Kansas City, the Mets
really do have a shot. They really do have a shot.
They do. If they win tomorrow, and then they win Game 4, then the series it goes right back to the Mets' momentum. Because if you win Game 3 and 4, then you have Harvey, who not going to be on full rest, but he's going to recuperate himself. He's going to be ready for Game 5, and he's going to want that ball. And then who would throw for Game 5? Would it be?
It would be Harvey.
Would it be Volquez? No, for the Royals. Would it be Volquez?
Are they doing a 3 or 4 man? I think they're doing a 3, right?
I think
Cueto would
they're
get
doing
Game 5.
a 3. Cueto in Game 5. And Cueto, you never know what you're going to get.
No. I mean, Cueto is, I wouldn't say as inconsistent, but this postseason has been inconsistent because he can show you that he has the stuff.
Yeah.
But the placement's just off. It just depends on what he's throwing that day, if he's throwing it for strikes or not, and where he's throwing the ball. But like we said, I want to backtrack to Game 1. We wouldn't be having this conversation if Familia doesn't give up that home run.
Wow.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. Yesterday would have been, it was just a little
Don't
miscue. We're going to Citi Field. Boom. But like you said, this is a reality check for this team. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch in Game 3 how the Mets bounce back and see how gritty they can be because they were in the second half of the year. They were a team on a mission, and they need to find that new mission and go all guns hot.
You know what? Going back to Game 1, I'd want to give the Mets a lot of credit because World Series, first pitch, inside the park home run. That doesn't happen. And Kansas City was insane once that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mets came back. They had a 3-1 lead. They took a 4-3 lead. And you know what? If Familia doesn't make a mistake, the Mets win the game. The Mets are very tough to beat. They are very tough to beat. This offense, if they start clicking, if Cespedes and Wright start doing their job, if they start playing like the Royals, essentially, then the Mets can still win this World Series. It's not over because we saw how much of a momentum swing that was with Alcides Escobar's inside the park home run. Unbelievable. Once that happened, I thought it was...
First pitch of the bottom of the first inning.
I thought it was going to be a blowout.
Literally every Mets fan was like, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. But no, the Mets know how to... They know how to produce runs too.
Yep.
And it starts with walks. If you notice, when they walk, they just know how to move around the bases. You can't put a Met on base because they just know how to get each other around. And they haven't been doing that. Cueto yesterday did a great job. But in Game 1, they did that. They had a 3-1 lead on Edison Volquez, who's been great in this postseason. So it's all about just finding your rhythm, finding that one little moment where you can capitalize on.
Yep.
And that's what they need to do. Find those little moments and make sure that it happens and you don't look back saying, we should have done this.
So Game 3 prediction. I say they win. I don't know if they win because I feel like this game can really go either way. I think
that the Mets will win 5-2. I think they find a little bit of a rhythm on the offense. I do not think that Syndergaard is going to go unscathed. I think he's going to give up a couple of mistakes.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, I think that he's going to pitch well because he needs to. And he's been there for the Mets so far in this postseason, so he needs to pitch well, and I think he's going to do it. And I think the Mets come out Game 3.
Syndergaard has not failed in any of his big starts.
Nope.
The first really big start he had was that series against Washington, Sunday Night Baseball, and he shut them down. And then he had a couple of more games on the road where he really needed to throw well. The series against Cincinnati, I think the day before they clinched, Syndergaard was on the mound, and he shut Cincinnati down.
Absolutely.
Syndergaard has been very clutch. He's been throwing very well in the big moments, and right now this series relies all on him because we know what the Royals can do. We know what the Mets can do. Yordan Ventura is not shutting down this Mets offense. He's just not going to. The Mets will find a rhythm. The home field will get behind them. They're going to score runs. All that matters is Noah Syndergaard tomorrow. We know what the Mets are going to do, but we don't know what Syndergaard and the Royals are going to do. Those are the only questions.
This is great for the game of baseball, though, Ryan. I would just love to say that this is amazing to watch. The ratings are through the roof. People are watching. People are taking time out of their day to sit down and watch professional baseball, which we don't see. Obviously, it is the World Series, but this is a very, very special World Series, and I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to watch Game 3.
Going to be very exciting. Game 3 tomorrow, Noah Syndergaard versus Yordan Ventura. Game 3 tomorrow night at Citi Field. Royals lead the World Series 2-0, but do not count out the New York Mets just yet. 11 teams have come back to win the World Series after being down 2-0. One of those teams was the 86 Mets. In Game 1, they lost by 1. Game 2, they lost by 6. Only difference was that they lost the first 2 games at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because naturally we won the All-Star game that year.
Yep, and Game 6 and 7, obviously, at Shea. And, yeah.
And we all know what happened then.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Scotty T,
All
take us
right.
through.
Rampa Roadrunner updates. In their season finale, men's soccer defeated number 12 in the state, Ryan. King University yesterday's Trevor Albrecht scored the game-winning OT goal. So congrats to the team on another great season. They are out of the NJAC conference, but they had a good season overall. Women's soccer also faced Kane University yesterday where they couldn't answer the Cougars' 2 first-half goals. The loss kicked them out of the NJAC tournament. However, they do await the word on the ECAC tournament berth that will be announced November 9th. So
I actually heard that, I just found this out last night. I heard that they did make it, but it hasn't officially been
announced, but they probably got told. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll see them in the
Bryce Hawkins
ECAC
told me
tournament.
Actually, it was on her Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Women's volleyball lost to Stockton U, who are undefeated in conference play in straight sets Tuesday. But the good news is they clinched the number 4 seed in the NJAC tournament. That starts next Tuesday. Me and Ryan will be on the call from the Bradley Center on WRPR for their first game against number 5 Rowan. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I haven't gotten to call volleyball yet. You have, so I'm all for that. World Series kicked off again on Tuesday. We talked about that. Kansas City came out hot. Game 1, outfielder Alex Gordon hit a mammoth shot to deep center off of Juris.
That was
a bomb. Off Juris Familia in the bottom of the ninth to tie the game. Extras would prolong the game to the 14th inning where Eric Hosmer hit a walk-off sac fly. Yesterday's Game 2 wasn't nearly as close as the first. Jacob deGrom imploded in the 5th inning, giving up 4 runs. Johnny Cueto threw a complete game win, which we haven't seen from him. He was on the other side of the spectrum, winning the game for the Royals. The series will move to Queens, where Noah Syndergaard will get the ball, and he will look to flip the switch in the Mets' favor. And that will be on Friday. The NBA is back, Ryan. I love the NBA. Knicks earned their first win last night against the Bucks, 122-97. The Knicks bench was highly active, with Derek Williams leading the team in scoring with 24 points. First-round pick Kristaps Porzingis dropped 16 points. The Nets, however, lost their first game to the Bulls. Jimmy Butler once again proving to be a definitive force on that Bulls squad, Ryan. 24 points going through the hoop for him. Derrick Rose had 15, while Nikola Mirotic had 18. The Knicks will face the Hawks tonight, while the Nets will take on the Spurs on Friday. Also, shout out to Jersey's own first overall draft pick, Karl Anthony Towns, had a great debut last night against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. He dropped 14 while also collecting 12 boards. It's his first double-double of many in his career to come. And also, third overall pick, Jahlil Okafor, also had a great game. He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Unfortunately, the Sixers lost, but that's great for the city of Philly. Finally have a great player like that back. Just one last thing, the 5-4 Rangers will take on the Leafs tomorrow night, and the 4-5 Devils will take on the Flyers tonight in Philly at 7 p.m. on MSG. You are listening to the Beast of the East on WRPR 90.3 FM with Ryan Morrick and Scott Thompson. We'll be back right after this. I know I don't have to pick a Beast of the Week this time.
No, you don't.
I knew I didn't forget that.
How about a little Sam Hunt coming back from commercial break? Beast of the East, Ryan Morrick, Scott Thompson with you.
All up after the sun goes down. I love Sam Hunt.
He's great.
He better be going to PNC. I swear. If
he opened up. He opened up.
Yeah, he opened up. Lady Annabelle.
Lady
Annabelle. I'm sorry, I just don't.
That?
Sam Hunt, go by yourself. I'll watch you.
Definitely. Before we get into the football talk, I want to talk about the NBA because we haven't done that yet.
No. Go right ahead. I'm all for it.
First of all, I want to talk about LeBron because I hate people who hate LeBron.
Me too. I am surrounded by LeBron lovers, and I love that. But just watching the negativity, it's the first game of the season.
He choked. Why?
He choked. Okay.
How about Pau Gasol with an awesome block?
Yeah.
No?
With a great defensive play. LeBron didn't go up as LeBron, though. LeBron went up.
No, he didn't.
People say he went up soft. LeBron went up soft. I'm sorry.
He did. No,
He's
didn't.
the bigger guy in this situation. He usually puts his shoulder down, and he didn't. I was expecting him to pump fake that ball, Ryan, because there were 2 people looking for him to just chuck it up automatically. If he pump fake, game over.
Yeah.
But LeBron hated you. You got to stop. You really got to stop. This guy is the best player in the league. It's not just my opinion. It's a lot of other people's opinions.
It's the truth.
He's the best player in the league. You can't look at one game. They are going to be in the playoffs. You need to focus on just beating this team. Be happy that the Cavs lost because it's not going to happen all the time.
Trivia question.
Good.
Who has the higher field goal percentage?
LeBron James?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on game-winning shots with 10 seconds left or less in the playoffs.
What is it?
Michael Jordan or LeBron. LeBron is 6 for 10. Jordan's 5 and 11. I hate comparing
Jordan and LeBron, but
Jordan and LeBron because Jordan's on another planet.
you can't help but do it anymore. People just are trying to bat him down, and I just don't get why. He has proven himself.
And people say, 2-4 in the finals. He's 2-4 in the finals because the three times he lost, the other team was better. Look at what he did last year. Was his field goal percentage great? No, it wasn't. But it was all they had. Who do you trust more? LeBron shooting 38% or Della Vedova? You know what? People want to say, Kevin Love and Kyrie, that's no excuse. Of course it's an excuse. Kyrie Irving
Absolutely.
is arguably the best point guard in the league. Kevin Love is arguably the best power forward in the league. I hate when people say, "Oh, great teams would come back from injuries." They're backups for a reason.
Will come back from injuries. What are they going to do? Sprinkle something on Kyrie's ankle? Like this isn't how this works. LeBron in last year's postseason. I don't care what people looking at Dellavedova. Yes, he had a good run there.
Good 12 minutes.
But LeBron was solid throughout the entire postseason up until the end when they lost to the Warriors. LeBron, you could see, would drop 35 every night. You could just expect that from him because of how great of a player he is. Ryan, that video we were watching today of that kid, what did he say at the end? He said people can always...
What kid?
The kid we were watching. He said people can always hate on what I might say, but they can't hate on the accomplishments that happens.
The thing in class.
LeBron has accomplished so much, and people are still trying to hate on it.
Yep.
And I just don't understand why. I don't understand how there are LeBron James haters.
I mean, I get it. 2011, the finals, it was abysmal. It was... There's no excuse for that. The guy was awful. But 2007, Spurs, Cavs. The 2007 Spurs, where Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker were in their primes. You can argue that they still are, but they had the stamina and they were unbelievable. LeBron, Delonte West, Mo Williams, Shaq at the end of his career. I don't even know if he was on the team yet. Anderson Varejao, who didn't prove himself at all.
And tall guy.
The Big Z, Ilgauskas.
Ilgauskas was there, yeah. So you just heard that team. Listeners, you heard that team. LeBron
they
James
should've won.
was that team. It's just so hard because I just don't get what goes through people's heads, right? I really just don't get it.
You know what? People who say he's not clutch, blah, blah, blah. I get where they're coming from, but the guy, is he Jordan? No. Is he Kobe? No.
No, he's
for
LeBron James.
For the clutch meter I'm talking about. He's not the most clutch person of all time. Oh, you know what? He has 15 career game-winning shots with 10 seconds or less, and 5 buzzer beaters, 3 of them in the playoffs. We're opening up the phone lines. I think I know who's calling in. Is this TJ?
This is TJ.
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
We're good. So basically what we're doing is shutting up LeBron haters because people think that because he got blocked on an amazing play by Pau Gasol, he is a choke artist and he's not clutch, and because he's 2 and 4 in the finals, he can't play.
So, do you want me to talk about what I saw last night in the game, or just
Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, TJ,
You're
TJ,
the basketball
TJ,
mind.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay,
Do you think that LeBron haters have any evidence to hate LeBron James?
Besides
Honestly,
the
because
decision.
Besides the decision, we can all agree that was just completely blown out of proportion. But LeBron has proven himself now.
No, LeBron definitely has proven himself, and he's head and shoulders the best player in the NBA right now. Only other person that's on the same level as him, you could say when healthy, is Kevin Durant.
Yep.
When you have LeBron James being the best player in the NBA, there's going to be haters. When he's not Michael Jordan. Until someone goes 6 for 6 in the finals with 6 MVPs, there's not going to be another Michael Jordan.
No.
Absolutely, and I love that you pointed out. If you're the best at anything, there's going to be haters out there. Kobe Bryant has haters. Kevin Durant has haters.
The people who compare LeBron the most to Jordan are the people who hate LeBron.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a compliment in itself.
It's a compliment, exactly. LeBron's not looking at it like we are. Obviously, it was one game that happened. Pau Gasol, hats off to you, but he just that's not going to happen again.
Yep.
Because it is LeBron James.
The thing about LeBron James is he's not the best scorer in the NBA. He's not the best perimeter jump shooter in the NBA.
No.
People like to knock him for not taking the last shot a lot, but the thing about LeBron James is he's the best basketball player in the league. He makes the correct basketball play 99 out of 100 times.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there's been times in the past where he hasn't shot it, and there's been times in the past where he's been criticized for settling and not going to the rim, and there's been times like the other day he went to the rim, but he didn't go up strong enough and got blocked. Like, Al Gasol made a good play. Give credit where credit is due.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And look at last night. Kobe didn't take the last shot for the Lakers.
Nope.
If that were LeBron, people would be saying LeBron's scared, this and that, this, that, and the other thing.
I couldn't agree more. If there was a game where who took that last shot for the Lakers last night? Lou Williams, right?
Yeah.
Williams, yeah.
If J.R. Smith took the last shot for Cleveland and missed, LeBron would be it would be over for him.
Yep.
Everyone on Twitter, everywhere, they'd be coming for this guy.
I mean, look, going back to the game against the Bulls opening night, what about the last 3.5 seconds? It's not like LeBron was a buzzer beater. No. What happened to the last 3.5 seconds where they inbounded the ball and no one touched
the ball
it?
away. Yeah.
that's not LeBron's fault. It's not LeBron's fault that the ball was thrown away.
Exactly.
Not at all.
People are upsetting.
This is the thing. People hate on LeBron but want him to get the ball. When he doesn't get the ball, you hate on him more. When he gets the ball, you still hate on him. I just don't. You got to make up your mind here.
I just think that you cannot like him for the decision. Fine,
but that's off the court. On the court, this guy's an absolute stud.
The best.
The stud.
And people think, like, going back to the whole excuses thing, no Kyrie, no Love, that's an excuse. It's not an excuse when your backups are backups for a reason.
It's the truth. You take away two All-Stars from your starting lineup. You're not going to beat Golden State Warriors.
No.
I would love to see the Warriors without Curry, without Clay. All right, we'll leave Curry. Let's say
Draymond Green
and Clay.
And no, I wouldn't say Clay. Draymond Green, and even Harrison Barnes. You take them out. You really think that they win?
No.
What is? Like you said, you need those factors around you. Yep. We saw that with the Heat when he had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade by his side. It was lights out.
Yep.
It was game over, and you just need LeBron has just put teams on his shoulders all throughout his career, and he can't do it anymore. In my opinion, he's obviously going to drop how many points he's going to drop.
Yep.
But you need those other factors around you. And as long as Kyrie can come back from this injury, and as long as Kevin Love stays healthy, like we said, this team there's a reason they're 60% favorites as the NBA Finals winners this year.
No, I couldn't agree more. Cleveland need to stay healthy.
Yep.
Last year proved the healthiest team wins.
Exactly.
Golden State, they played, people are knocking them and saying, their championship wasn't, it's not validated. They got to go out and win it again this year if they really want to be taken seriously because first round they played the Pelicans last year. Whatever. Drew Holiday, their starting point guard, wasn't in the series. Next round they played Memphis. Mike Conley, Tony Allen was hurt. Then they played in the conference championship. They played the Rockets without Dwight Howard, and they played Cleveland without Love and Kyrie. So
you can even make a case about Russell Westbrook last year.
Yeah, exactly.
The way he was trying to carry his team to the playoffs. If he has Kevin Durant,
But no one makes excuses for the Thunder.
Not yet. No one makes excuses for the Thunder. If they had Kevin Durant, it could have been a completely different story in that Western Conference. But that didn't happen, and it just shows how you need those good at least 3 people around you.
All right, TJ, I'm sure Brianna's yelling at you by now. Thanks a lot for calling in. All right, go hang out with Brianna. We'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot for calling in again, bud.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, take care, man. But yeah, that's how people are. Why people hate on greatness, I don't know. I think that LeBron's a generational player. When I see a great player, I don't take that for granted. And you know what? People are in 20 years.
No, it is.
When their kids ask them, "How was LeBron James?" Are they really going to sit there and say he stunk?
No, and I hope you don't, because you're seeing a great year of years of studs in the NBA. You have LeBron James, you have Kevin Durant, and you have all these up and coming players. You really need to sit back and be like, "Wow, this is great," because these players right now, even Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, these guys are redefining who can be studs in the game of basketball.
There's so many superstars now.
Absolutely, and we have so many more coming up. Who knows that Carl Anthony Towns? I hate to bring him up again because you know that me and you both love him, but there's a reason we love him because a big man that can shoot, like
No one knows he can shoot. Watch out.
This game is getting redefined.
He's one of the most athletic centers already in the league.
When I was watching him in high school, the guy was taking at least 7 threes a game and draining 5.
Yeah.
At least 5.
We saw him. We knew how he played.
The game of basketball is getting redefined, and as it does, more and more stars are coming out. But LeBron James is just above everybody, and it's just amazing to watch him. Kevin Durant, too. I think it goes LeBron, Durant, then you could just fill in the blank from there. But it's just amazing to watch these guys in the NBA right now. So don't hate on them, please.
We got on a huge LeBron tangent, but real quick, NBA predictions. Cavs are winning the East. It's that simple. There are 10 playoff contenders in the West, and there are about 5 or 6 finals contenders.
Mm-hmm.
You got Houston, you got Golden State, you got San Antonio, you got LA, the Clippers, you got Dallas, you have Portland, possibly. New Orleans is a sleeper. Minnesota is a sleeper. You have Phoenix, who can be a sleeper. You got 9 or 10 teams who can really. I probably miss some. I feel like I miss someone every time I mention it.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder. That's why I forgot to mention. Like those are the 10 teams that can really compete in the West. I think it's going to be Cavs Thunder. I think that the Cavs win that series. Again, if all is right with both teams. Right now, I think if they played in the series, I think the Cavs would win, and I think the Cavs are going to win the title this year.
Yeah, I think the Cavs are definitely the front runners right now, but going to the West, to me, I think that the Clippers, I don't think they're going to smell the finals this year. They always make noise at the end, and yeah, they have their times in the playoffs, but they just can't get it.
Portland can't do anything without Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio's old; they're not going to do anything.
Houston, yes,
for some reason they just can't do it.
Houston has Harden, they have Howard, but it's just it's not enough. Like I said, you need those 3 or 4 main guys that you can depend on every night, and you can't just depend on Howard and Harden to do the work. We saw that last year. So I think who's going to come out of the West? I think it's between the Thunder and the Spurs. I think the Spurs are going to come out. Reason being, Ryan, I think that Parker and Duncan really recognize what they have around them, and they know that their careers are short. They want to make one last run. They have a great team around them. Greg Popovich has a great team around him. He's definitely going to utilize these younger guys now. Great that LaMarcus Aldridge came in because you used to have to worry about Tim Duncan. Now you have 2 guys that can play basically the same position both on the floor at the same time. That's so hard. So, like you said, I have no clue. I'm taking a giant guess. I'm throwing a name out there because we could be surprised by maybe the Clippers do find it this year. Maybe Golden State does have what it takes to back up what they did last year. So, again, the NBA, a lot of fun to watch this year because of all these new stars that are emerging. So, a lot of fun to watch. I don't think the Wolves, by the way, are going to do it just yet.
Give
them a couple years to really work those young guys. Ricky Rubio showing last night that he is a different player this year that has a great team around him. So see what happens.
We got about 5 or so minutes left. Let's go over the Giants and Jets before we get out of here. Giants are on the road at New Orleans. Talk about the Giants first and then the Jets. Giants are on the road against New Orleans, coming off of a huge win against Dallas. A bad Dallas team, but you know that's just how it happens. Injuries. I feel like injuries are just what we've been saying all day. But the run defense collapsed last week. Thankfully, the Giants had a pick 6 and a kickoff return for a touchdown, and thankfully Brandon Whedon threw 3 interceptions on 5 passing attempts.
Matt Castle.
It was Matt Castle, you're right. I think that New Orleans, as bad as the Saints might be, New Orleans is still New Orleans, no matter how you look at it. I think that it's still a very tough place to play. Sure, they had that losing streak where they lost like 6 in a row in New Orleans. But you know what? It is the Saints. It is Drew Brees. The Saints have a phenomenal fan base, and the Saints have not disappointed too much this season.
No.
I think that if the Giants want to win this game, it goes back. We've said 2 weeks in a row now. Eli has to throw the ball at least 40 times because you know Drew Brees is going to do it, and you know what, they're going to give the ball to Ingram and Kyrie Robinson and whoever else they have in that backfield because the Giants' run
CJ
defense.
Spiller, they have a great They have a great backfield, but it's just like you said. The Saints may not have been the Saints in the regular season, but what's scaring me for the Giants is that they're picking it up. You beat the Falcons, you give them their first loss, not just by a field goal, by 10 points.
Yep.
You play the Colts in Indianapolis. Andrew Luck's back. Nope. Killed them in the first half.
Yep.
They're back at home now. The Giants coming off of the win, yes, but there were a lot of questions there. Eli Manning definitely has to have a great game. The Saints defense has stepped up a little bit. We saw that Andrew Luck really took advantage in the second half there. But like I said, we've said this for a while now that the Giants just need to work together as a team instead of having bits and pieces go together each game. We haven't seen a good team performance from them yet. So definitely look this week for the Giants to play as a team because that's what they need to do to beat these Saints.
And they're staying with the 4 running back core. Not sure if that's going to work. I mean, the Saints don't really have a good defense. I do think Eli has to throw the ball. I think the Giants do lose this game, but I think we're going to see a lot about.
You think they're going to lose?
Yeah.
I don't see them losing this game. Honestly, I
wouldn't be surprised.
I
if they
really don't. I see the Giants winning by a touchdown. I actually might even pick them this week for my survivor pool. As gutsy as that might be,
that's bold.
It is bold, but I really do believe in the Giants. I really do believe in them because they're coming out with these scrappy wins.
Yeah.
And as long as they just work as a team, I just don't see them not clicking this far into the season. Halfway in, and you know what? I just really think that it's going to work out for them.
I don't think the Giants can get a scrap. The Giants have had a lot of scrappy wins this year. I don't think they can get another scrappy win against a Saints team. They have not had a very convincing win all year. Even the game against Washington was not a very convincing win. I don't think you can get a scrappy win against the Saints. I do think the Saints win. I think that if the Giants want to win, again, Eli has to throw the ball. That's how it is. I think the Saints win. I said that in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think the Giants are a very good team, but you know what? Luckily, they play in the NFC East. Real quick before we get out of here, New York Jets, they're on the road against Oakland. This is not a walk in the park for the Jets.
No.
Oakland has been playing very well. Amari Cooper has been solid. He might win Rookie of the Year. For offensively, it's between him and Gurley. And Derek Carr he has the potential to be a very good quarterback. If he wasn't in Oakland, he'd be very, very good. Jets running game was not very good last week, but the Oakland Raiders don't have a good D-line. Chris Ivory, you hope, is healthy this time. Brandon Marshall's going to want a comeback game. Eric Decker did not practice yesterday, so we'll see what his status is. I do think the Jets win. Jets played a very good game. The Jets are a good team. The Jets are a lot better than the Raiders. The Jets, we said it on Monday, they are a playoff team.
Ryan, the Jets are a great team. Actually, they have been relentless even in their losses this year. Last week, we showed how Brandon Marshall just had a miscue, and it cost them. But just going forward, like you said, I think Eric Decker, I think they're actually just going to – I think he's going to play Sunday. Definitely just working him a little bit. But I don't know. It's hard, like you said, going into Oakland. Cooper and Crabtree opposite each other. Latavius Murray has defined himself as a pretty good back in this league, so see what happens.
I think Jets win by double digits.
I think the Jets win by 10 points. Yeah. Well, we'll go by that, but you never know what can happen in Oakland.
That's Scott Thompson. I'm Ryan Morick. Thank you for tuning in to Beasts of the East on WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. Scott and I will be back on the air on Monday, and NJAC Tournament, women's volleyball, number 4 seeded Roadrunners against the number 5 seeded Rowan Profs. We'll have to talk some trash to Chris Sheeran about that one. That'll be exciting.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. I think Chris should just come. Tell Chris to come.
That'd be wild. Scott Thompson, Ryan Morick, Beast of the East, thank you very much for tuning in. It is not goodbye. It is see you later. Take care, everybody.